beast! Ah!
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage filmography podcast. I'm Megs.
I'm Elizabeth.
And this week we watched 2002's Sonny, which is actually Nicolas Cage's directorial debut. It's the only movie he's ever directed that we could find. So we open on Sonny, who's our main character. He's played by James Franco. He's arriving back home in New Orleans after being discharged from the army. His mother, Jewel, is a madam. She trained Sonny herself. He used to be a whore. She's very excited that he's back. Her new girl, Carol, who's played by Mina Savari, and Sonny will make a lot of money together, but Sonny doesn't want to do it. He's learned that there's more to life than just turning tricks. Carol gets one of her Johns to give her a car that she then gives to Sonny along with $100 until he gets back on his feet. She tells him that it's a loaner car. After this happens, Sonny and Carol have sex. Sonny goes and buys a suit. He tries to get a job at the shop where he buys the suit from. Two older women approach him. The one, who I guess is named Meg, she didn't know that he was back. She's clearly an old client of his, and she introduces her friend to him. They chit-chat. She asks if he's still working, but he says no. They try to get him to have a drink with him, and he tries to refuse, but the clerk at the shop does come back to him and tells him that he's not sure about the position, so he ends up going for the drink. Back at the house, Jules' friend Henry was arrested for shoplifting. She tells Sonny they have to wait for Carol to come back and go with them. Apparently, she'll perform a favor to get Henry released. When Carol gets back, Jewel threatens her and tells her that Sonny doesn't care about her. Any feelings she thinks she has for him are only because Jewel trained him to be like that. At the jail, Carol asks Sonny to wait at the house for her while she does her favor, and he agrees. When Carol gets home, she hugs Sonny's leg and says that she wants to have a baby. She says if she looks close or too close in the mirror, she'll see herself, and she's not ready for that. The next morning, Henry and Sonny are having coffee at the table. Jewel and Carol are gone working in a different town. Henry tells Sonny that square people have just as many problems as they do. He doesn't want Sonny to get into anything he can't handle. Sonny doesn't want to get old with nothing to show for it, but Henry says he's happy with his life. He never wanted to be something else. They talk about Sonny moving and getting a job at a bookstore that a friend's dad owns. Henry hopes that it works out for Sonny. Sonny drives to his friend Jesse's house. Jesse's dad lost the bookstore to the bank, but gives him a copy of The Stranger by Albert Camus. His friend Jesse is played by Scott Conn. He tries to get Sonny to go out with him, maybe on a double date. Sonny tries to decline, and Jesse asks if he's gay. But Sonny said he's never been on a real date. He doesn't know how to act. That's why he didn't hit on girls when he was on leave with the army. So they end up going out. The boys pick up Jesse's girlfriend and sister at a church. Sonny is very awkward. They all end up back at the girl's house. Jesse and his girl get down to business while Sonny tries to make small talk with the other girl. She thinks he's a bit strange, but he just says he's transitioning. He'll relax at some point. They fuck. She had a great time and tells Sonny that he should do that for a living. He says that he used to be a whore, but at first she doesn't believe him. He tells her it was before the army. He doesn't do that anymore and tries to snuggle her, but she tells him that she has to go to the bathroom. But then he catches her drinking codeine cough syrup and goes nuts on her and smashes all of the bottles. Jesse comes in. Apparently he knew that this girl drank the cough syrup. They argue. Sonny freaks out and says he's better than all of them. Back at home, Sonny changes clothes and Jewel walks in. They have words about her finding work for him, but he says he'll be okay. She love bombs him a bit and hangs off of him until he tells her that he knows that he's all she's got. Next, Sonny is fucking the older lady Meg from the department store where he got his suit. She tells him she needs to see him again, and he gives her his number. She's short on his fee for the time, so he says maybe she can make it up to him instead. For the rest of it, she can make some calls to her friends for appointments with him, and she agrees. He leaves. At a bar, Sonny calls the madam of another whorehouse. She's got a job for him and gives him an address. She tells him he needs to be dressed for it. He says Henry should have what he needs. At Jules' house, Sonny calls and asks for Henry. They speak, and Henry says he can borrow it from a friend. Stop by in an hour. When Sonny picks up the item from Henry, Henry says there's some warehouse job. It wouldn't pay much, but he can work his way up. Sonny says everyone knows that he's a whore. No one will hire him and he has to go. He shows up at a fancy house and it was a cop uniform that he needed from Henry. The lady that answers is the client and they play at there being a prowler in the area and he needs to, quote, check the house. The woman lets him in and leads him to the bedroom. They play like she's being arrested and he handcuffs her to the bed. And she tells him to leave the uniform on. She also makes him use the nightstick on her, but not in like the hitting way, in like the gross way. Anyways, afterwards, she tries to stiff him on a third of the fee and he starts trashing the room. She pays him the remainder and calls him a whore and tells him to leave. In the car, he is very upset. Back at home, Sonny asks if it's okay to go and pick up Carol from her job that's out of town, and Jewel says he can, and asks if they're going to work some doubles together, and he says yes. She asks about the job the other madam gave him. He says it was fine. At the hotel Carol is working at, Sonny asks the desk clerk about any jobs he's got, but the guy doesn't get many calls. He calls up to Carol and tells her Sonny is there. When Carol comes down, Sonny tells her about a time when his mom used to work at this hotel, and the shotgun hole in the wall is from his daddy, but he doesn't even know what his daddy looks like. As they walk to the car, they talk about their weeks and working together. Now we're back with Henry. He's playing gin with a friend. He loses. Back at the house, Carol goes to shower, and Henry and Jewel argue about him not being able to take her out for her birthday. Henry asks if he takes Jewel out, will she come back to his room? She says she'll think about it. We also learn that Jewel has been selling Sonny since he was 12 years old. The next day, Henry has taken Jewel to dinner at a really fancy restaurant. They reminisce about how long they've known each other, about 30 years. Jewel asks, should we tell him? And Henry says no. A waiter comes over and tells Jewel that if she doesn't put her shoes back on, she will have to leave. The waiter goes to get her coat, and then Henry gets up and pulls the waiter into an alcove and threatens him with a butter knife to make him apologize to Jewel. He tells the waiter that if he calls the cops or the bouncer, he's going to have to stab him one day on his way home from work. So the waiter does as Henry says. Sonny and Carol go to a fancy party at a fancy house. The hostess introduces Carol to a man and then takes Sonny around to introduce him to people. Once the party ends and everyone leaves, the hostess is walking around the house and she finds Sonny in the kitchen and then they fuck. Carol is with the man that she was introduced to earlier in a bedroom. Sonny and the hostess come and watch them. They are a married couple. Sonny and Carol get paid and then they leave. Carol suggests they go for a drive in the rain. Sonny agrees and they spend all night driving. In the morning, he stops the car so she can walk in the mud, but he won't come for a walk until she pouts. Carol asks if she makes him happy. Sonny asks what's happy. She says she loves him. It starts raining again and they run to a nearby barn where a dog has just had puppies in the straw. Carol cries at the sight, but Sonny pokes fun at her and she starts crying about wanting a baby, and he tells her she's not being practical. She wants more than just living on her back. Sonny tells her that Jewel wanted the same things, but look where she is. Carol tells him that Jewel didn't want him. He was an accident. Then she apologizes and cries harder. He tries to get her to see sense in their situation, but it's clear she's having trouble. She wants him to lie to her. Just tell her it's all going to be okay and different. He tells her let's go home, and they leave. Back home, Sonny is shaving, and Carol comes into the room and tells him that one of her clients, the same one that loaned the car at the beginning, asked her to marry him again, and she's going to take him up on it. She wants a different life. They can go together, but he just wishes her good luck. He says he understands her choices, he congratulates her, and she leaves. Henry is gambling again. He's won for the first time. He gives his friend a little bit of shit, but then he goes to leave. When he's in his car, as he's pulling out of the lot, a big-ass truck slams into the passenger side of the car, and he dies. After the funeral, Jewel tells Sonny that Henry was a good man. He's also Sonny's father. She tells Sonny the story about their tryst while Henry was in the army. They broke up. Henry got transferred, and she learned 2 weeks later that she was pregnant. 10 years later, Henry came back through and looked her up, but wouldn't let Jewel tell Sonny because he didn't want Sonny to know that his dad was a failure. Sonny says they're all failures, and then breaks a couple of things, and then leaves and goes to a bar. Once he's drunk, he walks through the streets and ends up at a house asking for a guy named Acid Yellow, who is played by Nick Cage. Sonny wants a job, rough trade. Acid tells him he's surprised he's never worked men before, and tells him about someone coming over shortly, and alludes to some new bug going around. Sonny's fine with the job, so Acid takes him to a bedroom to wait. The John comes in, says he's been a bad boy and needs to be punished, and calls Sonny master. Sonny asks why he needs to be punished, and the man says that he's mean to the people that he works with. Sonny asks if the man knows his father, and he says yes. Sonny starts to beat the guy up, and one of Acid's men pulls him off of the guy and then out of the room. Acid screams about cutting his face, but Sonny runs away. Back at the house, Carol comes to grab her things. She says she's sorry for Henry. She needs the car back. Her and her client are driving down to Mexico in it to get married. She asks if Sonny is okay, and he says he is. Once she leaves, he opens a paper bag that has all of Henry's effects in it, his wallet, his hat, etc. Carol is sobbing in the bedroom as she packs. Jewel is crying over coffee at the kitchen table. Carol rejoins Sonny and says she needs to talk to him outside so Jewel doesn't hear. Outside, Carol tells him to get out of this life. She tells him they could have made it together. She's quitting right now and he should too. Don't even go back in the house. Just run. Then she leaves. Sonny turns and looks at the door to his mother's house. Then he runs after Carol. She's in the car with her fiancé crying. He tells her to wipe her face. She's got mascara running. She goes to clean her face in the mirror and sees Sonny running, so she jumps out of the car and runs into his arms, where they hold each other until the scene fades out. The end. Elizabeth?
Yeah, but that fade out is a dream because it cuts back to Sonny just staring at the door.
Right. And then it ends. Elizabeth, what did you think of this movie?
This movie is a snooze fest. For a film that's all about whores, it sure is fucking dull.
I agree.
In the beginning, there's a title card that says 1981, and that card is only there so that Acid Yellow's remark about there being a new bug going around makes sense.
Right.
But there's nothing in the film that makes it or pegs it to 1981 except one fucking line.
Yep.
That comes an hour and a half later.
Yeah. At the end of the movie. So, like, what is the point of even having that? What's the point of even having it there?
So I paused at one point. We were 12 minutes into this movie and on our second sex scene. And again, it's just so fucking dull.
It's so dull.
The direction is flat. The lighting is flat. With the exception of the scene in Acid Yellow's house, the colors are flat and muted. The acting is flat. The story itself is boring.
Yeah. And also, frankly, horrific.
Yeah.
Like, this movie is presented like this is a normal fucking thing, and this is just how it works in New Orleans. And, like, the looks that Jewel gives Sonny when he's, like, shirtless, or when he's, like, that one scene where he's, like, in his bedroom, he's, like, doing a bunch of stretches and stuff, and she's, like, unashamedly just, like, gawking at his ass. That is your son.
Yeah.
You taught him to start pleasuring people when he was 12 years old.
Jewel is played by Brenda Blethyn, who I enormously love. But even she can't save this. Like, she just cries through the entire film. And her accent work is terrible.
It's awful. It's awful.
People's eyes are in the shadows too much was something that I noticed. Like, you can't see... Like, you just see the sunken areas where eyes should be because they're crowded in shadow.
I agree. And it's not even just like a James Franco issue, because we all know that, like, his eyes are literal slits.
Yeah, Brenda Blethyn, you rarely see her eyes because it's like the direction is just not good.
No.
So let's talk about Nick Cage's acting for the brief 10 minutes that he is on screen. Acid Yellow is a man. Oh my God, that wig. Oh my God, that nose.
Yeah.
And his suit is bright fucking yellow.
Yeah.
It looks like something our dad would have worn to prom.
Oh my God.
It was, and he's got a purple poodle, a green poodle and a pink poodle.
Yeah.
They're dyed different colors. And this is the only scene in the entire film that has any vibrancy to it or any immediacy to it. And
not to mention that the character of Acid Yellow is actually fucking interesting.
Yes.
He's actually, and we don't see him until the end of the film. He's only there for a few short moments, and half the time when we see him on screen, it's through a lens of Sonny's own drunkenness.
So it's distorted.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would watch an entire movie about acid yellow.
Yes. Yeah, I would too.
That is how good that scene is. That is how good that performance is. So, as an actor, Nick Cage knocked it out of the park, but as a director, I've really got to give him a giant meh.
Yeah. I agree with you. And I mean, I can't fault him for the writing because he wasn't the writer on this film, but the writing was very bad. It was very poorly paced.
It was.
The none of the characters were even really, like, even Sonny, who is the main character, was not even very fleshed out.
No.
He was just basically, God, there's so much you could have done with this character. He could be this tortured, angry, all over the place character with this very deep, like, hurt inside of him. And the entire time, all we see is him just pouting.
Pouting, and he gets angry, but it comes from a place of pouting. And there's no real interior life that is shown.
Yeah.
To explain why his anger flares up. There's no explanation for why he's doing the things that he's doing. There's not even really a basic explanation for why he doesn't want to be a whore anymore.
There's not even an explanation for why he was discharged from the army.
No.
Because, so yeah, like, we don't even know why he was discharged. We don't know what led to him going back to his mother's house. And even when he goes to see his friend Jesse in Texas City to see about getting a job there, like, that guy, like, Scott Caan's character is just as big of a piece of shit as everyone in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And not even two-dimensional. Like, everyone is just so flat and cardboard in this. Even Mina Savari, who I fucking love.
So I thought Mina Savari actually elevated the material a little bit, but she lacks the same sort of direction and interior life that Sonny lacks. She sleeps with him one time and now she's in love with him.
Right.
But, like, you're supposed to be a professional whore.
We don't even know each other. Yeah.
You don't even know him. You're supposed to be a professional whore. You're supposed to be able to sleep with men and not fall in love with them. So what about Sonny's dick is so fucking amazing?
I don't know. Also, considering the fact that this is not something that he wants to do anymore, his very first night home.
Why does he fuck her?
Why does he fuck her? Just because they're sharing a room? Like, because she got a car for him to use and, like, gave him $100? Like, you really don't have very strong principles about this.
No.
If another whore in your mother's employ can throw $100 at you and you're like, well, guess I need it. Like, no, I feel like this movie wanted to be more tortured, and it just is not. It's a really poorly told story about something very dark and twisted, and it should have been better.
Yeah.
And it's instead dull as dishwater, and, like, there's nothing about it that would make me ever want to watch that movie again.
No. So we're giving this an F.
Yeah, we're going to give this movie an F for sure. I'm actually going to propose right now, just because it's the only one that we're going to have to do, but we should add a second caginess level for this film, because I don't think that we got enough of him as Acid Yellow to give him a fair grade, though I do want to give it an A. I think that we also need to give his direction of the film a grade. So
let's, instead of inventing a whole new category, we say his acting would be an A. What would we give his direction?
Never do it again.
Well, he never did.
Well, yeah,
this is the only thing he ever directed.
It's been 23 years, so thus far he has not tried again. But my rating of his direction is to please don't ever venture again. So would we give it an F? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So between an A and an F, we would land at a C. Yeah, sure. So our caginess score is a C. Yeah, let's average it then. That's good. But again, I would watch an entire movie about the character of Acid Yellow. I absolutely would. What a fucking departure that would be, right? Oh, yeah. Out of nowhere, Cage decided to make a film about a man named Acid Yellow, and it's all about, like, his struggles in the South, being a gay, drug-addled person living through the AIDS crisis. Yeah. Like, I would watch the fucking watch that. I would watch the fuck out of that movie. Yeah, I would too. So Nicolas Cage, please don't direct it. But like, if you know somebody that wants to write it and you want to maybe be in it, maybe you survive. They have excellent de-aging technology now.
Yes.
You know? Maybe you're telling the story from the other side because you survived it. But like, we would watch that. We would watch that.
I would pay good money to watch that.
Yeah, we both would. So
But I want my money back for having watched this for free.
I agree. All right. Well, listener, thank you so much for listening. If you want to follow along, we are on socials on Instagram at Not the Bees Pod. We do also have a Patreon at patreon.com/notthebees. If you want to head over there and support us, we would certainly appreciate anything that you'd be willing to drop us. We'd also appreciate if you would interact with this episode somehow, comment, like, share, whatever it is that you do, and follow along. But otherwise, for this week, I've been Megs.
I'm Elizabeth.
And we'll see you next time.